open up with an opening statement or just excitement for tomorrow's game?
Let it fly.
All right. Microphone. Austin here with the Wolverine right in front, Coach.
Could you just talk a little bit about the elements that you were most pleased with from the scrimmage against Detroit?
Well, I was most pleased with our level of competition, especially in the first half. I think our guys did a very good job of competing hard. I think that translated into how our identity is going to be. As far as a team that's going to be extremely competitive, playing hard-nosed basketball where we defend, play with effort and energy. So the second 10 minutes of the scrimmage, I thought our level of intensity sort of like decreased, but overall, I was pleased with what I saw. Getting back to a guy like David DeJulius, just in the scrimmage, he did a phenomenal job of making shots. It shows that all the hard work he put in this summer, as well as our practices that we've had thus far, he's been doing a really good job of just focusing on just being his best version of David.
Over on your right with James.
Juwan, I guess, what are you hoping to accomplish in this scrimmage? I guess, is there anything in particular you're going to be looking for?
Well, thinking back to how we want to play, I'm trying to make sure that we have some type of carryover to the practices that we've had. We've had some very good competitive practices where our guys have really gotten into one another, challenged each other, held one another accountable, which is good. Our defense has really picked up pretty strong. Offensively, we still have a lot of work to do as far as some cleanup areas, but tomorrow I expect that we're going to give our best competitive energy and effort.
And in terms of minutes, I guess, are you going to try to give your starters like 30-plus minutes? You're going to try to divvy them up? I guess how are you going to try to balance that?
Well, I haven't thought about as far as rotations yet, but I do want to get our starters out there to get some good quality minutes, where they get some good reps of playing together, just to see where we are and how we have to prepare for a team like Appalachian State.
Right in front with Isaiah.
Speaking, actually going back to David DeJulius, how have you seen him grow from the point that you started working with him? And it might be kind of a nebulous question, but what other players have you seen just kind of make the biggest leaps since you arrived, and how have they managed to do that?
Well, David has been that guy. He's been that guy who just really sticks out in my mind as far as the person who has made some big strides from when I first arrived to where he is now. David has an unbelievable work ethic, and he's done a phenomenal job with his shooting. He's been in the film room with Coach Isley, learning our offense. That area we'll get better with, along with not only just David, but everyone in general. David is now taking on that responsibility, becoming more of a point guard, but we're going to need his scoring, his level of toughness. But overall, I'm pleased with where he is, and I know just before I was walking over here, David was in the gym working out with his headphones on, getting some shooting with one of our managers. So never can ever question David and Xavier's work ethic.
Right on your right with Orion.
I'm just curious, how do you guys plan to account for Franz's absence over the first few weeks of the season, and who has really stepped up at the 2 and 3 there?
Yeah, that's a great question. Franz is a guy we're going to truly miss, unfortunately, for his injury. He was having a really good, as you would say, summer, along with, I'm so used to calling it preseason training camp.
Preseason is what we call it.
Yeah, preseason, his preseason was pretty strong, and up until even to that point where he injured his hand. But there are going to be many guys that's going to have to step up. I like to just call it by committee. You see a guy by the name of Brandon Johns. Colin Castleton will get some shot at the 4. All hands on deck.
Does that open up more opportunity for someone like Cole Bajema, true freshman, or Adrian Nunez even?
Well, Cole, Adrian is truly going to play. Cole is fighting hard to crack the rotation, but these last few practices, Cole's been playing with a lot of confidence, playing comfortable with himself. I expected Cole for the first 2 weeks as a freshman that everything that he's learning is new concepts, new terminology, a new responsibility of defending. I'm not sure, how he defended in high school, but college and the NBA, it's a different level. And Cole is trying to do wherever he can to help the team and improve individually. We're going to do our best as a staff and preparing him, but we're going to need him the course of the season.
Right in front, Josh.
Do you expect, excuse me, do you expect Brandon to be limited at all during, maybe Friday through Tuesday with his ankle?
Well, we have an amazing athletic staff, great medical staff. So John Sanderson, along with Alex Wong, I trust them. They've gotten him back on the court sooner than expected. Brandon wants to be out there. Unfortunately for him, it would have been great to see him out there when we played against University of Detroit. But he's been at practice every day, sitting there learning new concepts, new plays, things of that nature. But it'd be good to see tomorrow how it translates into a game setting.
Yep. And for Adrian, what do you need to see from him to kind of cement his role into a potential lineup spot?
Well, I challenge all our players, and Adrian included, on defending. I think where he can make a huge jump is defensively, guarding one-on-one. Also being in great help position, learning the team concept defensively on our defensive principles. Offensively, we all know he's a very good shooter. He's done a really good job of with our numbers and how we chart it in practice. He's always at the top of the list. I want to try to make sure, just overall for Adrian, that he can take a lot of the thinking out of it. Not saying that Adrian is the only one, but a lot of our guys, they want to do it right and they want to get it right. And that's the blessing of coaching a high character group that wants to get better. So Adrian is that guy who wants to do everything right. You're gonna make mistakes. My goal is to keep it not as complex, but simple, but good.
Right in the middle with, right in the right with Andrew.
Hi, Juwan. With you implementing, your new system, do you expect growing pains, I guess, early in the season? Do you look at it like that? Or?
Yes, I do expect that there are going to hit some bumps where it's going to take time for guys to adjust. Our team is used to a certain way how they played, especially like if a guy, for example, Eli, who's been here for, and this is third year, 2 years, under Beeline, and a guy like X who's been here for 4 years, and John. But now you have a coach who implemented a new system, and it just shows you how their level of intelligence, their basketball IQ, their willingness to learn, it's been awesome. I'm very fortunate, and I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it over and over, to have a group that has accepted the new. And what do I mean by that? New staff, new terminology, new offensive philosophy, new defensive philosophy. So what makes this job so much fun to come here to work every day is that working with 15 guys that all bought in and is willing to learn. So throughout the process with the offense, they're going to reach a moment where we are going to hit a patch. And I've seen it before in practice where it's not going to happen overnight. It takes time to develop. And I have the patience and I trust that our guys will grasp it.
And have you seen the bobblehead of you that they're giving away Tuesday?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What do you think of it?
Actually, it's not bad. And I think we need a little bit more gray hair. But overall, my wife said they can be a little bit lighter. She felt the complexion of that bobblehead version of me is a little bit dark. That's her way of just saying I need some vitamin D.
Right in the middle with Jacob.
Hi, Juwan. So I'm wondering, going from being in the assistant Miami, where maybe you're closer with some of your players, running some scout team stuff, and a little more fun. I was wondering how maybe your demeanor has changed as you've kind of been the man in charge, stepping up in that role.
Well, my demeanor has always been the same. I'm an even keel guy. I'm a guy also who's going to hold you accountable when you're not doing your job. I'm not a big yeller or screamer, but I know how to make sure my voice resonates and carries when I speak, the group listens. Same goes for when I was in Miami. I was always asked to never hold back. If there's something that I see out there as an assistant coach, Eric Spoelstra gave me that responsibility to speak up whenever, because they trusted times when I did speak that I spoke the right stuff, and we used a different word. But overall, now that I am the head coach, I'm not abusing that. I want my players to understand that my level of trust for them is high. Just don't abuse it.
Yeah, so it's like, is kind of having fun with your players still part of that approach then? Is that still part of the, part
Damn
of the
right. Yeah, I want to have fun. I enjoy it. I think sometimes, just in general, and I'm more focused on myself. Tone it down. Like, you don't have to take life just so serious every time. Yes, you have your moments where you have to pick your spots, but I want my players to know this, that we're going to compete hard. There will be some moments where we hit some tough patches throughout the season, but at the end of the day, I want us to say that once we look back on the season, we did have fun. We had fun competing, we had fun competing for one another, and we had fun throughout their college experience.
Back to your right with James.
Juwan, John Beeline a couple weeks ago said he was planning to meet with you and sit down. Just curious if that happened, and I guess maybe if you guys shared advice or tips.
Well, I can say this. Yes, we did meet. I drove to Cleveland last week. We had a great meeting. It was my idea that I wanted to sit down and talk to him. And I've always done this. When he was the head coach here and I was assistant coach in Miami, Coach Beeline, we developed that relationship. I've always respected his basketball knowledge for the game. I think he's one of those guys who I put on that basketball Mount Rushmore. Yeah, that's a pressure on him, but it's a compliment to him. He's like that Pat Riley guy, that Eric Spoelstra, Greg Popovich type of, and Steve Fisher. Those guys are the basketball Mount Rushmores that I trust their opinion, and I trust their basketball knowledge and experience.
I guess was he asking you for tips, I guess, to how to adjust to the NBA life?
We had a very good conversation.
Got time for a couple
Lasted for some hours too.
Connor?
Hi, Juwan. So obviously tomorrow's only an exhibition, but can you describe kind of what it's going to be like to walk out there as the head coach for the first time in front of the fans?
Well, I know it's going to, of course I'm not going to sit here and kid you guys that, will I have a little nervous butterflies? Of course I will. I think that's natural. It shows how much I really care and enjoy, just coaching basketball, but being here and coaching Michigan. I'm treated just like a regular season game. I'm not looking at it as a game that doesn't count. So how we will play and compete, we're going to compete like it. We're playing against the #1 ranked team here in college basketball. But I am going to be pumped about it.
Hi, Coach. You've talked a lot about the culture of this team and how you really want to instill family values and a lot of trust. And I was just wondering how the development of that new culture is going.
So far, so good. I think it's going pretty great. We're on the right path. I would say that. We are on the right path. We have guys that are bought in and they understand that it's real and it's natural. Culture is everything with me. I've stated it from day one when I took the job and got in front of our group. We want to build a culture that is something that they can really feel like they had a hands-on and be an active participant with building this culture. It can't be always driven by the coach, because the coach doesn't only play the games. You know, he obviously helped direct and lead, but the players play the game. And I think the players trust it, and they, you know, I'm sure you have to talk to them, get their feedback on it, but so far so good. It's been great.
Brandon, you want to close us out?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned Colin playing the four a little bit. What allows, you mentioned Colin playing the four. What allows him to do that, and what does that look like in your system, him at the four?
Colin is a special talent, and he has so much talent that's still intact. High skill level guy who's long, athletic. He can do some great things with the basketball, whether it's scoring from the outside, inside on the block. For Colin, the improvement in the area I would say is I want him just to keep it simple. And I would do my best to help him to stay clear, keep the brain uncluttered, and play with the passion that he's shown over the last season, because I've seen something in him last year. I recall watching the game versus Maryland, and you know, that was a tough matchup. And if I recall, I think it was at Maryland, and we won that game. And he came in and gave us big minutes. And like 2 days later, Coach Beadon and I was talking on the phone. Yeah, so tell him, we really have a good relationship, right? You know, I'm in the midst of 82-game schedule, and he's in the midst of 40-game schedule, and we found time to all this, how busy his schedule is, and now I get a chance to see, you know, myself, like how busy his schedule was, being coach here at the University of Michigan. We just talking on the phone, and we brought up Colin name, and I was like, wow, he gave you guys some really good minutes. I said, that kid is pretty interesting, and that's the word I used. And Coach Beeline said, hey, the guy looked like a surfer, right? And I'm like, well, his hair is a little twisted, a little flipped up, or whatever, but you can tell he has some, something special within his game. He was like, no, that kid's gonna be pretty good player. So then now I'm the head coach, and I'm here in the summertime, and I'm seeing it like, wow, he can shoot the basketball to be a 7-footer. Wow, he can finish at the basket. He's pretty skilled in the low block. Okay, we got something special to work with, and I trust him. I think he's gonna have a really good, solid season this year.
Okay, Coach, that's going to do it.
Thanks for having me.